The Saga of the Icelanders. The Saga of the people of Vatnsdal. With this agreed, Ingolf and Ottar parted company and were reconciled. Ingolf and his wife had 2 sons named Surt and Hogni. Both of them were accomplished men. Ingolf was regarded as a great chieftain in many ways, following admirably in the footsteps of his father. By this time, Olaf at Hakagil was aging fast. Chapter 41. Outlaws and robbers were much in evidence at this time, both in the north and the south, so that people could hardly hold their own. One night they stole a great deal of food from Hakagil, because there was plenty of everything to be had there. Olaf went and met Ingolf, and told him of this. Ingolf prepared to set off from home with 14 men. Olaf told him to be careful, and said that his safe return home mattered more to him than the whereabouts of the food. They rode south over the heath, and talked about the robbery at Olaf's homestead. The chiefs had stolen goods worth 1,500 ells. Ingolf and his men came across their tracks and followed them until they became confused because the tracks went off in 2 different directions. Then the men split up, 8 in one party and 7 in the other, and they searched in this way for a long time. A short distance from them were some sheilings, and they made for them. There they saw 18 horses by one shealing, and they concluded that it must be the thieves, and they said that the best idea would be to look for their own companions. Ingolf said that in some ways this was inadvisable, because the thieves may then reach their cave, for it is only a short distance away, and they will be safe if they get there, and then our journey would be worthless. Besides, we are not sure where our men are. Ingolf jumped down off of his horse and ran into a nearby ravine, picked up 2 flat stones, and fixed one to his chest and the other between his shoulders, and so protected his exterior. In his hand he had the sword of Atartangi, and then went into the shealing. It had 2 doors. Men say that Ingolf had the support of no more than 1 other man. Ingolf's companion then said that they should let his other men know what was going on. Ingolf said that he would guard the shealing doors, and his companion could go off after the other men. The companion said that he would not leave him. It seems to me that your supporters here are by no means thick on the ground. Ingolf wanted to attack straight away, and told his companions to follow him staunchly. The thieves laid into him as soon as he entered, but the stones which he was wearing protected him, and the blows glanced off him. Then they attacked Ingolf from all sides, but he defended himself bravely and well. Then he raised Tartangi, and the sword fell on the head of the man standing behind him, so that he met his death, and it delivered a death blow to the man standing in front, and thus Ingolf killed them both with a single blow. There was a fierce fight, and when it finished, Ingolf had killed 5 men, and his companion had also been struck down. They had by then come out of the shealing, but Ingolf was severely wounded. His men approached him. The thieves then fled, and Ingolf's men seized the booty and fashioned it onto the horses, and then headed off back northwards. Ingolf lay wounded that winter, and the wounds healed after a fashion. But in the spring, when the weather grew warmer, his wounds opened up again, so that he was brought to his death. And before Ingolf died, he asked to be buried on a different hill from the one on which his kinsmen were buried, and said that the girls of Vatnsdal would remember him better if his grave were close to the road. He then died. The place where he was buried is called Ingolfshot. All men lamented greatly the death of Ingolf. He had lived on in great honor for 12 years after the death of his father. Ottar married his daughter, Valgerd, to a Staffholt man. When Ingolf died, Vatnsdal was without a chieftain, because the sons of Ingolf were not able to assume the Goddard due to their age. Men sought to know what should be done. It was the law at this time that, while heirs were still young, whoever seemed best suited amongst the Thingmen should look after the Goddard. Chapter 42. Thorkel Scratcher, son of Thorgrim, was both big and strong. He was 12 years old when these events were taking place. Thorgrim did not acknowledge him as his son, but Thorkel was much braver than Thorgrim's legitimate sons. Thorkel Silver, from Helgavatten, was a great shapeshifter and also wise in the ways of magic. He was very wealthy, without friends, disliked by many men, and yet a very worthy fellow. The same day on which the meeting about the Goddard had been arranged at Karnsa, the wife of Thorkel Silver said, "What do you intend to do today?"